Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Carlos Alcaraz shares difficult Warriors. Stephen Curry admission amid US Open. A lot of athletes have dabbled in the philosophy of multiple sports to be successful in the one which they are professionals in. A very prominent pipeline has to be basketball and tennis. Friendships or mentorships have been formed because of this, like Naomi Osaka and Kobe Bryant, along with Rafael Nadal and Pau Gasol, among others. A new addition to that list is the inspired Carlos Alcaraz in the middle of his US Open run, and Golden State Warriors legend Stephen Curry, who just notched a gold medal at the Olympics. As of the moment, Carlos Alcaraz is through to the second round of the US Open. His next opponent at Arthur Ashe Stadium will be Botic van de Zandschulp. Due to all of this and a hectic Olympic schedule, the Spanish Prince of Tennis could not see the Warriors legend and Team USA play. He even outlined his dismay upon learning that this workload would not allow him to meet Stephen Curry via ESPN. "I couldn't. I would have loved to come over and watch the USA play basketball, but I couldn't. You know, the tennis schedule is always so tight, so I couldn't find the time to go," Alcaraz declared. Tennis is one of the rare sports where one can only blame themselves for a botched strategy. All of that pent-up frustration usually leads to broken rackets and enraged shrieks in the middle of sets. Alcaraz was not safe from any of this frustration. Before the US Open and after the Olympics, he smashed his racket in the second round of the Cincinnati Open against Gael Monfils. He no longer wants this to happen again and looks to Curry so that he can have more positive emotions during matches. "I've watched him. I watched Stephen Curry play in real life in Miami, and it was a joy. It was a privilege watching him play. I'm trying to do the same things as he's doing, you know, on the basketball court, but it is difficult. But yeah, probably the same games, same feelings that we try to put joy on games," he declared. Alcaraz will have a tough path before reaching a Grand Slam win at the US Open. He is on the same side of the bracket as Jannik Sinner and will potentially have to overcome Novak Djokovic once again in the finals. Will he notch the positivity of the Warriors legend and get the victory? Clippers to host the Warriors in Hawaii for the first time since failed Paul George negotiations. Amid all the buzz around Intuit Dome, fans must wait longer as the Clippers look to continue their tradition with Hawaii. The Ballmer organization will hold its training camp in Honolulu for the third consecutive year. Since 2017, the LA franchise has hosted 5 training camps on the Big Island. Looking to begin their preparation ahead of the 2024-25 season, Coach Lou and players will begin training on October 1 at the Stan Sheriff Center on the University of Hawaii campus at Manoa. The Kawhi Leonard team will also play their first preseason game in Honolulu, hosting the Golden State Warriors on October 5. Paul George was one of the most significant talking points of the summer so far, given his player option with the Clippers. The future between the two parties looked bleak at the time, with multiple suitors lining up to pitch PG-13. The Warriors were in hot pursuit of the 9-time All-Star, offering all sorts of trade packages. However, Joe Lacob's management wasn't willing to include Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski in trade talks, which didn't sit well with the Clippers. Ultimately, George decided to sign a 3-year deal with the 76ers. Sadly, both sides ended up at losing ends, especially the Clippers, who failed to procure anything in return for George's exit. While the two affluent organizations continue to explore the trade market, their chances to contend in the West have fallen considerably. Ironically, both Californian franchises had a turbulent offseason, witnessing their marquee players depart, Klay Thompson and Paul George. Nonetheless, it will be interesting to see the two teams battle it out on the islands of Aloha. Bruno Caboclo trains with Warriors in search of an NBA contract. Determined to return to the NBA, Bruno Caboclo is training with the Golden State Warriors. According to the athlete's agent, Daniel Hazan, the Brazilian will participate in training with the Californian franchise until Thursday, 29. Hazan is optimistic about the outcome of Caboclo's attempt. But, on the other hand, he doesn't rule out the pivot going to an Israeli team. Last season, the Brazilian played for Partizan Belgrade, from Serbia. He will train with the Golden State Warriors until Thursday. The objective is to sign a contract with the team. Above all, we believe he will succeed. However, Hapoel Tel Aviv remains an alternative. It's definitely an option worth keeping, Hazan said. Currently, the Warriors have 14 players, meaning there is still a spot available on the squad, which would facilitate Bruno Caboclo's return to the NBA. But, obviously, everything will depend on the Brazilian's performance in training. If successful, Caboclo will be partnered with another Brazilian, the young winger Guilherme Santos. It is worth remembering that, today, the San Francisco team has Draymond Green, Kevin Looney and Tracy Jackson-Davis as options for the big box. 2 weeks ago, news broke of the Cleveland Cavaliers' interest in signing the Brazilian. According to Chris Fedor, from the Cleveland Plain Dealer newspaper, the Ohio franchise followed Caboclo's performance at the Olympics and carried out a survey. This negotiation would not be imminent, but there is a positive sign. The player's performance in Paris impressed the Cavs management. The Caboclo's interest in returning to the NBA was, at first, never a secret. He spoke openly about the issue during the Paris Olympic Games. "My son lives in the USA, so the closer I am to him, the better. I will continue working and, if I have the opportunity to return, I will be very happy. I want to achieve this goal," said the 28-year-old player. Before the Olympics, the center held a closed training session in Las Vegas, which was attended by representatives from 17 franchises. At the time, he was accredited for having been the highlight of the pre-Olympics in Riga. The veteran led the team to a place in Paris, defeating the home team, Latvia, in the final. As a result, the MVP of the qualifying competition was chosen. In Paris, Caboclo had a complicated start. After all, he spent little time on the court due to excessive fouls in the defeats against Germany and France. But then it resumed its high level. To begin with, they dominated Japan in a crucial match for Brazil's qualification to the quarterfinals. He left the court with 33 points and 17 rebounds. Subsequently, Caboclo was Brazil's highlight in the defeat to the USA. It was a mistake for the Americans, but he left his mark with 30 points and 6 rebounds. He converted 13 of 20 shots from the field, even scored by stars like Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis. "Bruno is really good. I didn't know him, but I was impressed," said star Anthony Edwards, after the match. "And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Bruno Caboclo? Leave your opinion in the comments.